All right, guys. Guys, I really want to thank Ruben Huertas from Preferred Mortgage. The reason we have this. I like the temperature. I like it very warm now. I went to Florida last week. That was cold. I had to bring a jacket to Florida. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Seriously, thank you for coming. Who here is a part of our WhatsApp group? We have a WhatsApp group, REIA Rico. Beautiful. I think there's a lot of value in it. I think it's very resourceful. There's a lot of resources in it. That's what we're doing here. And that's because of you guys, everyone that's contributing in that group, everyone that is adding value to the group and trying to share the experiences we've had here. I'm really grateful for that because I don't think I'd be in Puerto Rico if it wasn't for you guys, seriously, because REIA Rico has been a pivotal part of my success here and my growth here. When I first got on here, I remember Jerry was at a speaker event that we had in the basement of a condo in Miramar. It was so weird. There was all these red trash cans, like red COVID trash cans all around, and it was bizarre. But I remember I had imposter syndrome. I was sitting up there and I was shaking, and I was like, man, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to relate to the people that are doing awesome deals like Israel down here, and it's amazing, guys. And I just want to say thank you for being a part of this, and hopefully we can get more involved with WhatsApp groups and see what we can do there, because a lot of people are doing deals there, and a lot of people are making connections. I think you're definitely going to meet someone here today that's going to change your life, because we're all here. The game changers are here. I'm really excited about Jerry speaking. The last time that he was here, Jerry Norton is over here. This is him, Jerry Norton. Yes. I'm in Puerto Rico. I'm doing these houses, and I'm like, man, I should reach out to this guy. I reached out to him. He was so generous. Immediately, he answered the phone. He was like, "Come on down to Palmas. I'll show you what I'm doing." And he was showing me these beachfront lots where he was going to build these luxury, huge mansions. And he spoke about it with such passion that I was like, I want to get involved. I want to see what we can do together, you know? And we haven't been able to do something together, but it's happening soon enough. And yeah. So who here is involved in any real estate in Puerto Rico? Beautiful, beautiful. I think there's a lot of different ways to have opportunities. There's a lot of different ways to get into opportunities down here. We're trying to get into more loaning money, hard money. I have some hard money contacts down here. So if you are interested in getting access to that, I can definitely hook you up. There's a needs and wants section that we're going to have at the end of the meeting, where I'm going to talk about a deal that I have. I have a project in Santurce in Miramar that I'm raising $1 million for, equity and debt split. So if you want to hear more about that, I definitely want to talk to you about it. So we're gonna I'm gonna introduce you to Catherine. Catherine's gonna come up here, but it's actually Catherine's birthday this week. So I'd like to. Happy birthday. We have some cakes that Stephen and Peter are going to come out here with. Yes, so I'm really grateful. Thank you. This is my mother, by the way. Happy birthday, dear Catherine. Happy birthday to you. Put back there by the pizzas. Oh, chocolate and vanilla. Pink and dark. Okay. All right. Yes.
Awesome. anyone who joined us on Zoom doesn't get to enjoy cake.
We are zooming this, so if you guys come up here, stay in this section.
Got it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay. So who's here for the first time tonight at REIA Rico? Oh, okay, welcome. You know, last week, Zachary and I were in Orlando. We went to Squad Up Summit, which is an event by Sub2 and Pace Morby. And I must say, it made me so excited to be in real estate. Like, I think these events are so important because you get into sort of the drudgery of life. And, you know, I've got an electrician working today and sending me all kinds of texts about the wires and cables he's finding. And, you know, when you're in the day-to-day of it, sometimes you forget what an amazing wealth builder that real estate is. And I want to ask, how many people here are aware of the tax benefits for hospitality real estate projects in Puerto Rico? Okay, yeah, a lot of you know about that. You know, in Puerto Rico, if you do a hospitality project, you can get about 40% or up to 40% of your investment back in the form of tax credits. A lot of us are investing in hospitality because of that. Do you know they don't do that in Florida or California or Ohio or New York? Like, that is unique to Puerto Rico. When I was in California, they found ways to tax you for hospitality. And they dreamed up ways that, you know, every time you turn around, you're like, they can do that? How are they going to get away with that? There was always like another tax. And yet here in Puerto Rico, the government is actually giving you back money and incentivizing you to be here and to invest your hard-earned dollars into real estate. And I think that's pretty cool. And, you know, we also are blessed to live in a tropical paradise. You know, those of you who live here, we get to enjoy Puerto Rico. We get to go to these amazing beaches and waterfalls and caves. And, you know, there's so much here that we get to enjoy. And then we also get to invest in real estate if we choose to. So I just want to remind everyone of that, because being at that event reminded me of how much I love it and how lucky we are. So just wanted to share that. Now, I know a lot of you were here for Jerry. Who here has watched Jerry on YouTube? Yeah. Definitely a famous YouTuber. I got to see him twice on stage last week at Squad Up Summit. Everyone was just hanging out, trying to meet him, take photos with him. He had groupies everywhere. I had a lot of women that I connected with, that I'm staying in contact with through Facebook and Zooms. And I'll tell you, they all started posting their pictures of Jerry and just saying, you know, he was my favorite speaker. And he had a quote that I took a picture of, which is, "Your income is equal to your level of risk tolerance." Your income is equal to your level of risk tolerance. And then he maps out how to increase your risk tolerance. And I don't know if you'll go over that later, but I just think one of the ways you offset your risk is by getting to know each other and being in rooms like this and being part of the WhatsApp chat. Because then you can warn each other about the gotchas. You can learn how to avoid the mistake that someone else just made. So that's why Zachary and I created this group. So, you know, they say your network is your net worth, or maybe it's the other way around. But anyway, you start by showing up here, meeting people. We're going to get a chance to network some more later. Did you get a chance to meet Stephen and Pedro on your way in? Hey, give them a hand, because they volunteered to help us and bring you cake. Thanks, guys. I want to point out one of the things that we have here is an annual supporter. That's someone who pays about $249 as a suggested donation to be part of this group and go to all of our meetings. Can you raise your hand if you're one of the annual supporters? Okay, we need more annual supporters. Give these guys a hand, because they made I'm really excited because today I made a decision, because my friend Davin told me, sent me a personal WhatsApp message and talked to me about this cruise that he's organizing. And I'm going to have him come up in a few minutes, but there is a cruise where you get to hang out with about 300 of your Puerto Rican neighbors on a cruise ship to visit other islands in the Caribbean. And we're gonna go and we're gonna have a very special segment for anyone who wants to join the REIA Rico portion. You know, tell them that you came through our group, and we're gonna have a special mastermind. Zachary and I, and anyone who signs up for this cruise is gonna get a special one-on-one mastermind with us. And that means we can do whatever it is you wanna do. You wanna look at your portfolio, you wanna set goals and be held accountable. You wanna talk about your investments, like whatever it is you wanna do, we're gonna do that with you as our thanks for you joining this cruise as through REIA Rico. So I'm really looking forward to it. I know almost everyone who got off the ship 2 months ago signed up to go again. So that's gonna be in May, March 15th of 2025. You got lots of runway, but it's really important you sign up by tomorrow because the price goes up $1,000 per cabin. There's still cabins available, a lot of them are sold out. So I just wanna mention that if you're thinking about doing it, this might be a good time to pull the trigger and do it. So we decided to do it, pull the trigger today, put our credit card in, put our deposit in, we're in. We are going on that cruise, I can't wait. Saw some flyers on your seats, so that'll give you some information about the cruise. Aruba, Curacao, is that how you say it? Curacao, Martinique, I've been there, St. Kitts and Nevis. So, wow. Okay, so we're gonna break off into groups in a second. And what we like to do is what I call forced networking. And I do this because there are shy people, and sometimes I'm one of those shy people that have a hard time going up to a group of strangers and saying, "Hi, it's me. I want to do real estate." So to make that easier, what we've done is we've given you name tags that have colors on them. And in a minute, when I give you the cue, you're gonna go, you've got a green name tag, you're gonna go over there, yellow over there, red's back there, purple's over there, blue's over there. So in a minute, we're gonna break off into groups based on the color of your name tag. And you're gonna say your name, you know, where you're from, what kind of real estate you're doing. And then for this time, you know, back in January, a lot of us shared what our goals were for the year. So as it's not quite halfway through the year, why don't you share one of your accomplishments for 2024? What have you got done? What have you checked off your list? What are you proud of? You know, share something good with your new friends. Okay, so we're gonna have about 10 minutes. At the end of it, when I call you back, can I get your agreement to come back to your seat so we can get to the rest of the show? Is that okay? Okay, all right, go off and meet your friends. You'll have 10 minutes. All right, take your seat. There's always room up front. I don't bite. It's my birthday this week. I don't bite. Unless it's cake. All right, guys, we're gonna get started or restarted. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so before we get on to our main event, I want to ask Ruben to come up here. You know, Ruben lets us use this space, and Ruben also has a really cool meeting that he does. So I'll let him tell you about it. Ruben, where did you go? Ruben. Where'd you go? Ruben? Just lost him. Okay. Davin, are you here? Okay, I'd like Davin to come up because he runs the San Juan Social Club. I want him to tell you a little bit about the cruise. He knows all the details, and I'm so excited about this cruise. So welcome, Davin.
Got the memo. How y'all doing? Okay. So, how many of you are in the San Juan Social Club?
Yes.
Okay. Not that many of you, actually. God, you guys should all join. hit me up, I'll put you in. So 6 years ago, when I moved to the island, I started a sleepy little group called the San Juan Social Club. And my goal was to bring Puerto Ricans together with newer Ricans, guys like and gals like me, for food and for drinks and for conversation. And from there, anything is sort of possible. Now, when I came here, it was just after Hurricane Maria. We would do monthly events. We'd have 5 people show up. And in the early days, honestly, it was 95% Act 2020 tours. But my goal was to bring us all together. Today, fast forward 6 years later, there's almost 1,700 people in the San Juan Social Club. And we are closing in on 50-50. It's like 60-40 right now and closing in. It's all the high-level founders, movers and shaker entrepreneurs in Puerto Rico. Does that sound cool? Yeah. So come see me later. I can throw you in the club. It's free. All our events are free. I do them as a public service. But about a year ago, I had this idea to create the first San Juan Social Club cruise. And then I had this vision for what it was going to be. I spent a year worrying about it. And a month and a half ago, we got off the first San Juan Social Club cruise on Virgin. We had 238 people. I gave the ticket sale profits to charity. So we bought 21,000 meals for the Boys and Girls Club kids of Amenti. Yeah, that was cool. And besides it just being a blast, was it a blast? It was a lot of fun. Besides it being a blast, our cruisers did $110 million in deals back and forth between each other. Who thinks that's pretty cool? Wow. Yeah. Of that, most of it was real estate. And in all transparency, one deal was $100 million. Okay. So, but let me tell you how it happened, because this was the magic. The cruise was 75% people like you guys from Puerto Rico, and 25% were people that I've met from all over the globe from speaking in 51 countries over the last decade. All the movers and shakers of all these different countries. So what happened was the people from all over the world got fired up about what people in Puerto Rico were doing, and the people in Puerto Rico got fired up about what all the people overseas were doing. So I had a friend, Mark, who runs a $250 million real estate trust in the UK. Day one, he got fired up about Puerto Rico. He calls home, he said, we should invest in Puerto Rico. They said, we'll do some research. 2 days later, they call back, they said, we're in for $100 million. That's how the $100 million deal happened, okay? And that's the kind of stuff that happened on the cruise. So anyways, the cruise is very inexpensive. It's a couple grand for a week. It's on Virgin, it's next year, a couple grand per person based on double occupancy. But right now, it's just a few $100s to book. And we just take the money from you the rest of the year. But tomorrow at 5 o'clock, it goes up by $1,000. So everything changes tomorrow. So there's some postcards around here. We couldn't put them on everyone's chair because I didn't bring enough. But if you don't have a postcard, just look on another chair. There's like a ton of them here. And if you want to come, I would suggest that you register tomorrow before 5 o'clock. It's just a few $100s. Who was on the cruise? Put them up if you were on the cruise. So just a couple of you. But it was great, right? It was super great. So anyways, I hope you all come. You guys going to come? Yeah. Okay, good. I hope to see you there. That's gonna be there. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry. So we're gonna have a special REIA Rico mastermind on the cruise. So a group within the group. So when you book, make sure in the drop down to select REIA Rico. That'll put you in the cool kids area, and then we'll get everybody coordinated. And oh, by the way, it includes everything. So your internet and your taxes and tips and port fees and all that stuff. So there you go. Cool. Thank you. Yep.
Scarlet Party. Okay, so I also wanted to bring up Ruben to talk about the cool things that he's doing with commercial. So Ruben, why don't you come up and talk about your Tuesday morning groups that you do and the underwriting, because it's all about the yield.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Nazi.
Yeah, I'm gonna be short. Basically, we want all investors, adult people, to be highly successful. About 85% of would-be investors end up in a situation where actually it's not that successful because they didn't consider some things. Particularly, if you come from outside of Puerto Rico, you might think that the financing or some conditions are the same as someplace else, even though the values are lower than in other places. Like if I compare a unit in Puerto Rico with a unit, let's say in Florida, but there are other issues that also we have to take into consideration. So what we have done is create a mastermind group. It's actually 2 of them. Every Tuesday, that is live. 10 to 11, we do it in Spanish. 11 to 12, we do it the English session. And what is the mastermind? It's very simple. We take real cases from real life with real numbers, and we run them through a calculator that has all of the Puerto Rico financing conditions if you want to do financing. If you don't want to do financing, then we run them cash. But starting with what will be the yield that you want to achieve in your investment, to see exactly where do you stand. And then you decide, yes, I go or I don't go. For instance, some people say, okay, I'm going to buy a property for $1 million and I want a 10% return on investment. So they apply a 10% cap rate. So one of the problems is that a 10% cap rate don't necessarily give you 10% return on investment. So we use a band of investment calculation, which tells you if you want 10% return, you probably need to get 11, 12 cap rate applied to that net income to get your return. I don't want to get more complicated than that, but we take real numbers, we plug them into a real calculator, and we get as precise as you could possibly get in the island as far as your investment. And you say yes or no, and you say I can or I cannot. That is free of charge. We always do it here, except this coming Tuesday, where we are going to have a tour to the soon-to-be open Valley Boutique Hotel in Isla Verde. It's going to be a 78-unit boutique hotel. It's opening up in September. And I want to have the mastermind over there. It's right next to Panadería España. And the reason I want to do it there is because long time ago, like about 15 years ago, I had the opportunity to do a seminar about shopping centers with a friend of mine who just built a shopping center, and the whole thing was closed, so he just finished it. So not every day you have the opportunity to do a seminar with the thing closed and learn everything that you need to learn. Here, we're going to do the same. Before the hotels opens, like what, 3, 4, 5 months before it opens, see what it took to be there. Now, the most important thing is, these people came in 2018, 5 units. Now they have over 400. And this one is going to have 78 units. So I want you to see what is possible in Puerto Rico. Not easy, because you probably learned already that Puerto Rico is not easy. But I don't want easy, because difficult creates a barrier to let out whoever doesn't want to do all the work. But I want possible, okay? So we can make it possible, and whatever we can help you with, we are here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sounds really fascinating. A couple of announcements. We decided, Zachary and I discussed our 4th Thursday of the month schedule, and we decided that wasn't working for us anymore. You might have noticed we've done a couple of these meetings now at the beginning of the month, Easter, whatever, we were in Orlando. So we're going to try switching it to the 1st Thursday of the month instead. So if you're planning your schedule, we're going to see how that works. So next month will be June 2nd. And then, did we talk about deal makers at all? I don't think we did. So every second Saturday, we do a deal makers breakfast club. How many people here have been to a deal makers breakfast club? I know a bunch of you come, yeah. So a lot of times they're just at my house. Of course, we're always looking for venues. So if you have a project or a house that would like to host a breakfast club, that's always welcome. Okay, awesome. So we'll do like pancakes, and we'll chat about real estate. It's a little more intimate in this environment. You get to know people a little better. And a lot of times we go on field trips afterwards. And so the last time we did it, we went to look at 3 different projects from different investors and that they purchased in various states of rehab. So that was really cool too, just getting to ask all the questions of, how did you do this concrete sink and things like that. So that's fun. And also remember, if it gets too late and you have to go, I understand, but if you wait until the end of Jerry, we're going to do needs and wants. So if you do have a project or you're looking for a partner or something like that, stick around to the end. That's when everyone gets a chance to grab the microphone. So I would next like to introduce our main speaker. Jerry Norton is the owner of Flipping Mastery, an education company that has helped students flip over 100 million worth of real estate. He's originally from Michigan. Jerry went digging holes as a construction worker in his late 20s to being a self-made millionaire by age 30. In addition to teaching others how to succeed in real estate, he's the proud father of 10 kids. He enjoys boating, hiking, serving in his church, and spending time with his family. And he's just one of my favorite people on the island. Please welcome Jerry Norton. Oh, thank you. Let me mic you up with yet another mic. What we need is many mics. Okay, awesome. I'll take it over. I hope you didn't. I have a
here. What? For the presentation.
Let me set that up. Oh, stall.
Okay. No problem. I did want to say too, Jared and I were talking about the WhatsApp group, the REIA Rico WhatsApp group. Jared, tell everybody what you said to me.
Oh, it's just the best group ever. I reached out today, I think, about places that do like appliances, like microwaves, and Zach responded like right away. I don't know where Zach is. Responded right away with like a bunch of links, and I got like 4 other responses. So
Yeah,
if
the group
you're
is
looking
amazing for
for
resources.
anything in the real estate world, it's super great. Really.
Yeah, you found some appliances we needed, right?
Yeah, found it right away.
Yeah, because we have a rehab and it was like, what, 6 weeks to order this new oven we need, and anyway, we found it, so it's great resource. But yeah, thank you. I've got some slides I want to show everybody, but what I want to talk about with everybody today is basically just my experience. So I'm only going to be sharing what I've done so far, what I'm focusing on, what's working for me. And it may not be for you, it may not be what you want to do, it may not align at all, but it'll at least give you my reference and what I'm excited about. And I think maybe to lead into this, because it's flipping and it's luxury, and it's even specific to my neighborhood, right? So it's very niche what I'm going to share, but I think there's some good ideas hopefully you can take away. And one of the concepts that I've grasped over the years, 20 years now in real estate is this idea around margin over volume. And how many of you know Pedro Cardona comes up? I was hoping I'd see him tonight. He does quite a few flips on the island, and I saw him in Orlando last week, and I was talking with him, and I shared with him some of these ideas that it's just as much work to do a big deal as a little deal. Okay, just as much work, more or less, because you still have to transact the deal, you still have to raise money for the deal, you still have to do something to the deal, you're still dealing with contractors or whatever you're doing to the project, but it's relatively the same time, energy, and effort to do a little deal as a big deal. What's the difference though? Much bigger margins as you go up in deal size. Okay, so for me, that facilitates a lot of things. It certainly is more conducive to lifestyle, because if I can do 10 deals instead of 50 deals, what's your lifestyle like when you're transacting less, right? So less moving parts, less headaches, less less of everything. And so it can really help that part. And for us and our family, lifestyle is like our biggest priority. That's our #1 filter. So when we're looking at a project or business opportunity, everything filters through, you know, given where we're at in our life, in our family, our goals, does this fit that filter, right? So it's not necessarily how much does it make, it's first #1 for us is lifestyle. And we don't always get that right, but we try to. And we're always realigning. So if we're off on something, we try to realign on that. But you'll find that you can do, like, let's say a fix and flip, and that deal might make $30,000 or $40,000, and maybe that's okay. Maybe you're at a stage where you're okay with that. But what if you could do a transaction similar? It's going to be more expensive. It's going to be higher end, more capital, but virtually the same process. But now it makes $300,000 instead of $30,000. Okay.
Really quick, we need access to those slides.
Oh. Oh, you do. Yeah. I gave you access, but it's probably gonna send a request.
If you want to send access to your bank account too, we'll take it.
We'll all take that, please.
Yep. Oh, I just hit the. Okay, you can put it on this. Yeah, so this is a picture of an iguana I shot. It has absolutely nothing to do with real estate. What I'm gonna talk about. Okay, thank you. But I do want to talk about flipping luxury. And before I do, I gave a presentation here at the club when we first got on the island. So it's been probably 3 years ago. Was anybody at that presentation? Remember? Okay.
Yes.
And I talked about something that I want to take a few minutes and go through, because this was pivotal for me to be able to get deals in Puerto Rico. I had to go through a real transition process to learn, how things are done here. And I get a little bit of heat for this, but I don't mean to be offensive in any way. It's just been my experience. But there are some real challenges here on the island. And the first challenge is unreliable data. And people are going to say, well, Jerry, we have an MLS now. But an MLS system is only effective if everybody's using it. So it can't be like, well, half the people are on it and the other half aren't, because now your data is what? It's incomplete. Yes, you don't have all the data. So partial data isn't the same. Data is either you got it or you don't. All right. So one of the challenges here is that we have no standardized data. We don't really have an active MLS, meaning everybody's on the system. All the data is on the system. And we also have a real lack of transparency. So this creates some challenge. And I love what Ruben said, where he said difficulty could actually be good. So the way I look at Puerto Rico is, because there's a lack of data and unreliable data, that creates a barrier for our virtual people, meaning it's very difficult for someone off island to transact on island. Why? They can't gather the right data, they can't make good decisions, but we can, because why? We're here, but it's boots on the ground, it's roll your sleeves up, it's get dirty to do that. So that's one of the first concerns. Another one is there's a real lack of agent oversight. This is much different than in the States. There's not a lot of accountability. There's not a real active association. There's not really best practices. I know there are, but I mean, they're not enforced to where it means something. And there's not a licensing board or a real estate commission or division here that's enforcing things. I had an experience in a deal I did early on where I had under contract this big piece of land in Palmas that I wanted to develop. And I had it on an option agreement, which, what's an option agreement?
Right, but not the obligation.
Yeah, so it was, I have the option to buy it, but I'm not obligated to buy it, and the seller can't sell to anybody else. And I had this window of time, and I had refundable earnest money on this project, and it was $100,000. Okay, and the agent spent my money and couldn't. And so when I did not move forward with the contract, he didn't have my earnest money to get back to me. Now he ended up paying it back like $10,000 here, $5,000 there. And it took him about a year to pay back my earnest money. Now, what would happen if that happened in the mainland? You would probably go to jail. I mean, they take earnest money and they take, an escrow account very seriously. And so like, those are things that maybe happen here a little bit. That's something that happened to me. And so this creates some challenge that there's a lack of agent oversight. I've had times where there's a contract on a property, we're under contract with the seller, a better offer comes along, and what happens? Your offer gets thrown out, and they take the new offer. Now, things like that don't really happen much in the States because somebody's going to be enforcing the rules. Okay, so that creates some challenges here. Another one is agent collaboration. Now, who's running into this? Okay, so agents aren't really collaborating very well like they do in the mainland. And part of the reason why is because there isn't a co-broke, meaning the buyer's agent can't depend on his commission. It's not built into the listing, and it's not already guaranteed by the seller. Now, this is actually changing in the States. Who's been following some of the real estate commission reform? Yeah. So we'll start to see some changes happen, and it may revert more to this type of style. But what that creates is a lot of mistrust between agents. And it means that a buyer's agent actually has to negotiate their commission and before they even do a showing, definitely before they write a contract, they have to make sure that their commission is gonna get paid. So what that does is it creates a lot of mistrust between agents, and then agents become very territorial. Who's ran into this? So an agent's gonna show you their listings, they don't really wanna show you somebody else's listings, because they don't feel confident that if you decide to buy somebody else's listing, that they're gonna get paid. They're worried that they might not get paid. They might get cut out of the transaction. So is that happening between agents? They get cut out of transactions. And again, this reverts back to challenge number 2, which is if there's not a lot of oversight and an agent can do something like that and they're not too worried about anything happening, then here we go. We've got some of these challenges. So, maybe some of these things will work themselves out in the future, but this is what we have to deal with. So it's just how do we now work around this? So here's what I'm doing, and I do this strategy quite a bit in the States as well in my real estate businesses. But I want to create key relationships with the listing agents, pretty much all agents. And what I found is just like in the US, in your neighborhoods or in your markets, there's the 80-20 rule, which means 20% of the agents in any given market get 80% of the business. Would you guys agree with that?
Yep.
Like in Palmas, there's what, Janice, maybe 5 agents, I think, in all of Palmas Del Mar that pretty much get all their listings, 80% of them. And then you have a bunch of people running around, maybe outside of the market or brand new or trying to break in, but there's typically a handful of agents that dominate a market. Those are the agents that you want to become friends with, get close with, network with, and they're going to be your go-to. They are going to be your source of data. So those are the agents that teach me the market. I'm going to become a market expert in the area that I want to invest in. And the way that I'm going to become a market expert is I'm going to rely on the top producing agents to help me learn the market. Tell me what's going on. What are things selling for? What do people want for properties? A lot of things happen off market. So agents, a lot of these top producing agents, they're going to know a lot about what's going on. And I call it golf carting for dollars. We get around in a golf cart. So it's not driving for dollars, it's golf carting for dollars. And one of the things I'll do is I'll take an agent and I'll say, hey, come with me. And I'll drive around my market and I'll say, tell me what's going on. Tell me what you know about this. And they'll start telling you all kinds of information that isn't on any data anywhere. It's in the agent's head, right? It's their knowledge of that market. And this is how we're learning a market, is relying heavily on that agent's expertise. Okay, Tony Montz here from Raleigh, North Carolina, and him and I did some training yesterday and today. And we talked all about, on the mainland, the access to data we have and how you can do millions of dollars in transactions simply by having access to good data, because you can learn everything you need to know about what's going on, and the data doesn't lie. Okay, so now that's a disadvantage for us, but like I said, it's also an advantage, because it means now you can become very exclusive and you can become a market expert, and that barrier prevents a lot of other people from coming in, and it allows you to not have to fight against so much competition. What's on that one? You can start pushing almost. Yeah, so, and then what's the double dip strategy? What does that mean? Anybody know what that means? Yeah, it means you're gonna go to that listing agent and you're gonna say to that listing agent, hey, I'm unrepresented. I don't have buyer representation. Now, immediately, what's that listing agent gonna think about working with you? I wanna work with this guy. I wanna work with this girl. They don't have agent. I don't have to worry about a buyer's agent, which means now, what does that listing agent get to do? Get both sides. Yeah, so they're gonna be able to go to that listing agent and say, hey, I have an investor here, I have a buyer, I have an offer, and they're my representation too, and so therefore they can get a much higher commission. They're gonna be highly motivated to work with you, because do agents like money? If they like money, so if they can make twice as much working with you by getting double the commission in essence, then they're gonna be highly motivated to work with you. It's all about the relationship. Okay, so I'm never after the deal first, I'm after the deal second. I'm after the relationships first. And here's a simple script that I like to follow. So if you grasp this concept, this will make the way you work with agents become really easy. So I'm gonna go to an agent, I'm gonna say, I have access to cash, because I'm friends with Robbie Krager. And I also work with other investors and buyers who have cash, and we're looking for properties to purchase to either hold for rental income or flip for profit. I know you come across distressed properties and or motivated sellers who are looking for an as-is cash buyer and a quick private transaction. When you do, I'd like to be your buyer. I'm unrepresented, so you don't have to worry about a buyer's agent and can charge whatever commission fees you want to your seller. So they could pass on a savings if they want, or they could take the full commission, which they typically take the full commission. So this is just a conversation that I'm having with these agents in the market. In the market where I want to do deals, this is the conversation I want to have. And again, what's the point of this? What am I trying to establish with these agents in the market I want to do deals? I want them bringing me deals. And ideally, I want those deals off market. Because what will happen is these agents now, when they sit down with a seller to do a listing, what will they say to that seller? Hey, I have an investor, I have a cash buyer. How would you like to get this done nice and easy? No showings, no financing, no appraisals, none of the issues. I got an investor and let's take a look at what they're willing to offer. Okay, that's what we're after here with agents. We want them coming to you as their go-to. Once you create that relationship, then agents will start to bring you deals after deal. And that's what's happened with me so far is I have agents now bringing me great deals. So my investing is exclusive right now at Palmas Del Mar, mostly because that's where I live. It's easy, it's convenient, and it's a big playground. So there's just been enough opportunity for me to do well. But what I want to share with you will work in whatever market you're doing. And again, like I said in the beginning, I primarily am focusing on higher end homes. So this was the first transaction I did in Palmas. And remember this one, Janice? This is the plantation. So this was brought to me by an agent off market. Okay, so what do we call that? A pocket listing. So agent brings sellers in distress, wants a fast cash offer. I contracted for $500,000. I put a message in the Greenville WhatsApp group and say, hey, I got this property, it's for sale for $625. I'm looking for cash. And I got a $595 cash offer from one post in the WhatsApp group. Okay, now I wholesale this deal. So what's wholesaling? Anybody not know what wholesaling is? Anybody not know? Okay, so I got the contract for $500. I found a buyer that wanted the deal for $595, and then what did I do?
Where's the contract? Sign the contract.
I signed my contract to that cash buyer and made $95,000 without ever owning the property or coming up with the money. Who thinks that's pretty cool? Okay, now, because it's a Puerto Rico property, that income would be subject to what? Puerto Rico tax. And what would my tax rate be on that?
30.
Yeah. Is it 33?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay, so guess how I did it without having to pay any tax? So I'm Act 60, right? Anybody Act 60? Okay, so if you're, okay, so this would work for you only. Okay, if you're Act 60 says a security. So if you sell a security, that's a capital gains. And capital gains is taxed at what rate? And if you're part of Act 60, 0. Okay, so I set up an LLC, and I did not sell my contract. That would be traditional wholesaling. I did not assign my contract. What did I do? I sold the LLC. And what did the LLC own? The contract. And then they fulfilled the contract. So by selling the LLC, it fell under a security under my Act 60 decree at 0 tax. Cool?
But you can also apply that to normal Puerto Ricans, since capital gain taxes and lower than the income tax. So you can do that also maybe if you're not Act 60, right?
Okay. I don't know if you're not.
Yeah, it's 15% capital gain, so it'll be better.
Hey Jerry.
Yeah.
I missed the top of that. So did you just option it? Are you done the contract?
Yeah, I put it under contract with a purchase and sale agreement. Yeah, so now I had a contract to purchase the property. On the contract, it said Plantation 59 LLC, right? So
That's what I understand. That's
okay.
Separate makes sense. So,
Yep.
So basically you just had like a 60-day contract or something like that?
Yeah, 30-day contract or whatever. Yep. Yep. So I set up an LLC. LLC contracted the property because I needed the LLC to own the contract. Sold the LLC membership rights to the buyer.
Did you give him some earnest money up front or?
Yes, I gave some earnest money. Then I collected earnest money from the buyer. And then I had to explain to my buyer, hey, you're not buying the property, you're buying the LLC, which owns the contract, which gives you the right to close on the property. Yeah. And that's how I did this one too. So this one is the second one I did like that. This one I contracted for $825,000. So this is down on Harbor Lights.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Matt Widows is doing it. Do you know Matt?
I probably.
Okay. You know, Matt, yeah, so Matt bought this from me, so I contracted this for $825, sold it for $925. Now, the house next to it on this side recently sold for like 2.3 or something like that, so is there equity in the deal? Yeah, now why in the world would the seller sell this property for $825? Yeah, rule number one, never put yourself in the seller's shoes, right? Or try to understand what the seller's doing. All we know is he's motivated and I have cash and it's closed quickly and he wants the cash. Okay, and the property needed work. And so the cash offer was very appealing. I got it for that deal and did the same thing. Set it up in an LLC, sold my LLC to the buyer, fell under a security under Act 60, paid no tax. Yeah.
Is there any pushback when they see the assignment fee? Or it's like, I know in the States you can do like a double close.
No, so the question there is there a concern that your buyer sees how much money you're making? Heck, no. So here's how I handle that. I say to my buyer, I say, look, I'm gonna make $100,000 on this deal. If that's a problem, tell me right now, because this is a great deal and I'll find another buyer. And I don't want to deal with any issues with this later at closing, right? So I just get it out of the way. And honestly, if the property fixed up is worth 2.3 million and he's buying it for 925, should he really care? He shouldn't. I mean, some people do, but you really shouldn't care because he's getting a great deal. Okay, so as long as it's a great deal, then you don't really run into that issue as much.
Jerry.
Yeah.
I have the same question, but with the seller, will the seller be concerned that you're making this much money on his property? And second question is, what happens if you don't find a buyer and you have that commitment to get the contract?
Yeah, great questions. Yeah. So what's the seller going to do when he sees that you're making $100,000? Well, he could have made $100,000 more. He could have made way more if you wanted. If you wanted to do listings and showings and maybe fix it up a little bit, clean it up a little bit, he didn't want to do any of that. So he knows he's selling it at a discount and he knows I'm an investor. So, and I'm giving him exactly what we agreed on. So, I mean, maybe he's thinking afterwards, maybe, man, I could have got more money for this, but yeah, I gave him exactly what we agreed on. So if he didn't like that I was going to make money, he should have said no originally. What does it matter if I make 5,000 or 100,000 or 300,000, right? I'm giving you the number you want. So again, you want to be careful that you don't create objections around doing this that are your objections in your own head more than they are in reality.
Yes. I'm saying it because wholesaling is not as traditional in Puerto Rico as in the States.
Yeah.
So it's a very new concept here.
Okay.
And people feel it's a fishy business.
Yeah.
Or there's a gray line there.
Yeah. I mean,
That's not just here.
That's
That's
the
the fishy business everywhere.
yeah.
I imagine Puerto Rico, which is a very new concept.
Yeah. But I mean, you run into that kind of anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, has it happened to you, like, you put a deposit for the contract and you wholesale it and like the buyer is like, well, I can get 100,000 more, I'll default on the deposit, I'll not, get true to a contract and then he finds another buyer or something like that?
The seller or who?
The seller.
It's under contract.
Yeah.
Well, it's under contract. Yeah. So the seller can't
Especially
really.
here in Puerto Rico, you sign that contract, you put EMD down, you're going through with that transaction.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mean like he's got remorse later and he thinks, oh, like.
Yeah,
this is like-
he defaults on the
No, I mean,
contract. He doesn't
remember,
go through the
Remember, this is
contract.
a motivated seller. He wants to close in 30 days. He doesn't want to bust it up and find a new buyer. He wants the cash.
Yeah, probably if that's the case, yeah.
Yeah, he wants the cash. Yeah. The only one that should be worrying is the buyer coming up with the money, not the seller. The seller wants the transaction to go through.
Last question about the negotiation of the LLC. Is there some difficulty with that or is it pretty easy?
Well, I mean, most buyers that are paying cash at that price, they're sort of savvy, so they, a conversation and they get it. Yeah. And I'll tell them, I'll say, look, if you don't want to buy it in the LLC, then we're gonna have to adjust the price because I gotta factor in taxes now. So if you want to pay my taxes and pay me another $30,000 to cover my tax on this, then you could do that too.
But it's great too, if you're selling it at 60 or.
Right.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So both these deals I did were both Act 60 buyers, and they're probably keeping that LLC alive. And when they go to sell it, they're gonna do the exact same thing.
So do you have non-refundable earnest money on this if you don't find a buyer, there's 30 days?
Yeah, so that was the other part of your question was, okay, well, what if you don't find a buyer? I mean, that goes back to just contracting 101. I mean, how confident are you in the deal? Do you have the ability to take it down? Like I would never contract a deal with a seller and put down earnest money if I'm not confident that I can get the deal done. So I felt really confident that this was a great deal. I could have taken it down too as a plan B and maybe renovated it or just resold it if I needed to. But I'm always planning for those unforeseens because maybe you don't find a buyer, maybe you don't find your buyer in time by closing. And so, yeah, I mean, you gotta just build in some of those contingencies when you're gonna do something like this. Yeah, does that answer that question? Yeah. But I would never go hard on earnest money, especially a lot of earnest money, if I wasn't confident that I could do the deal. Either find a buyer or be able to take it down and buy it. Because then my $10,000 earnest money, that's now non-refundable, I put that at risk. And that's not smart to put earnest money at risk. Okay, unless you're confident about the deal. Any other questions on that?
So I just, I sell some real estate sometimes in Puerto Rico and not a lot, though, because we mostly buy and hold, but I just wanted to speak to that. If you guys were ever under contract with me and you want a wholesale, I have no objection to that at all. And I suspect that that's the feeling of most of the people that are selling. So those objections that you're talking about, like Jerry said, don't put yourself in the shoes of the seller. There are motivations for taking the quick offer from a Jerry Norton and letting him go and wholesale it.
And here's how I would handle Robbie if I wasn't confident in the deal. I would be totally transparent about it right up front with my seller. So I would say something like this. I'd say, look, I know you want $825 for this property. I think that number works for me, but I'm gonna need a little bit of time because I gotta go back to my investors and make sure that I can get the funds for this deal. So give me 15 days or give me 20 days or 10 days or whatever. Give me a little bit of time. Give me a contingency. Give me some due diligence so that I can make sure that this deal pencils. And then what I've done is I've just been totally transparent, totally upfront. We still contract, we still agree at $825. But then when I come back and I say, look, $825 doesn't work. I've done more due diligence. Here's why. Now they're ready for that conversation. They're not blindsided by it. They didn't pack the U-Haul already and ready to move because you told them right up front, I just need a little bit of time, but I can't go do the due diligence unless we have a contract in place because I can't spend the time on a deal that I don't have under contract.
Have you put in earnest money at that time?
Yeah, I'll put the earnest money, but I'll make it non-refundable. I mean, I'll make it refundable. I'll make it refundable until my due diligence is over. Or whatever time, yeah, I mean, I typically know if I've got a deal in 48 hours, right? So in the mainland, when I do wholesaling, if I don't have a buyer in 48 hours, I probably don't have a deal. Because I'm gonna put it out to the market aggressively, right, Tony? Like, we know in 48 hours if we got a deal.
Yeah, if you have good buyers list in the process, we're getting this deal in front of somebody. And just like you said with this one, like non-refundable earnest money is, I'll do that if I know 100% I'm okay with taking this deal.
Right.
If I can't find a buyer for it.
Exactly. So if you have your plan B ready where you can fund it, then maybe you'll go hard on your earnest money because it doesn't matter now, you're gonna buy it anyway. Yeah.
Can you file memorandums here? Like,
I don't know if they do those here. Do you know, Pedro, if they do
Yeah,
memorandums
but
here?
they can't go wrong. Once you have that thing filed, it's different. It's not like Washington State or Delaware or.
People backdoor you, you can't really get backdoored. Yeah. So this is my next project right now that, Emery, you get the like chills when you see it, like.
A little.
So Emery's
Little bit of drama right now.
involved in the renovation on this
Thank
one.
you for the appliance, that is saving us 6 weeks, so.
Yeah, that's great, yeah. So I tried to do the same one on this one. So this is actually a great example. So we got the contract on this for $507. The house next door sold for $775, not renovated. And then the one on the other side of us sold for, forget what that one sold, $750, also not renovated. So we're thinking we can get $8 to $825 by renovating this one. That was the numbers. And this is the picture when we bought it. And this is Janice. Janice was the agent on this one. And we did new windows, we painted the outside, we did a new front door, we added a garage door. What else did we do? And we painted inside.
Painted the cabinets.
Painted the cabinets.
New
Countertop.
New amenities in the bathroom, we tile in the master.
Yeah, but fairly cosmetic. I mean, how long has the rehab taken us now? A month, 3 weeks?
Yeah, a month.
And we've got another week or two to be done.
We weren't actively working on it probably for at least 10 days of that.
So this is in Palmas, yeah. So in our budget's about, I think we'll fall in where around 70,000, maybe 75,000.
I think we'll stay under that.
Yeah. So we're all in about 575 and we're gonna try to get 825, 800 somewhere in there. So if we hit our numbers after commissions and things, this should hopefully net about 175. And it's a fairly easy rehab, like a a 4 or 5 week rehab, fairly cosmetic. Right, we're not moving walls, we didn't even take out the cabinets, we just painted the cabinets, put the countertops on, light fixtures, you know what I mean? So we left all the bathrooms alone except the primary bathroom.
I mean, yeah, we do need a new toilet, new vanity.
Okay.
So, and we have to move the light fixtures, so that's a little bit of cement drama. It's not
Yeah.
crazy.
But still, a fairly quick renovation. And again, who would like to do a 4 or 5 week rehab on a house that's gonna net you 175,000? Yeah, right, you can do that all day long. Now, going back to my original thought in the very beginning, if you're rehabbing in a lower price point, you might need to do, 5, 6, 7 deals to make the same money as one deal. And guess what? We bought the lights at Home Depot, right? Like, it's still a Home Depot special.
Not quite,
Okay.
not quite.
What did we not get at Home Depot?
Amazon.
Jared found the The appliances are used from the REIA Rico Club. We're painting the refrigerator, which I've never
No,
done
this
before.
is brilliant, guys. We're painting the refrigerator. We're using a car paint specialist.
Yeah.
So we're not buying new appliances. We are just using a guy who just repaints cars. And so he's used to metal, and it's gonna look like a brand new refrigerator that is like matte black, super trendy looking, and it's the same old fridge with a little bit of rust in the back. It's brilliant.
How did you decide to renovate it versus wholesale?
Well, okay, so I tried to wholesale it first. And this was a fast closing. Like, the only reason why we got this deal was, what did we do, Janice? We closed it in like 2 weeks.
Yes. What's the contract price? Purchase?
507,
507 and resale?
800, hopefully. We're gonna try it 825. Yeah,
What
so,
neighborhood is it?
pardon?
What neighborhood?
This is in Palmas Reales.
Okay.
Yeah. And luckily, because one of the challenges, Pedro, is like, well, how the heck can we comp something? And we just happen to have like amazing comps, one on this side and one on that side, right? And so it made it really easy to get the data. But again, guys, not getting data is a challenge, and it's also a blessing. And the only reason why we were able to get the data was we're just very hands-on, on the ground. Like, the house that sold next door, we actually knocked on the door while they were moving out. And we said, hey, do you mind if we walk in? We're buying the one next door. We want to look at the condition here. And what am I looking at? I'm looking at, well, this thing got $775, but it's got the same kitchen we have now. They did not update the cabinets. They did not do the countertops. They didn't do anything.
They didn't paint the fridge either.
They didn't paint the fridge either. Yeah, and it got $775. So anyway, that's why we're thinking we'll do really well on this one. But I tried first, because I'd rather make $100,000 and not do any work than make $175,000 and do a bunch of work. Emery would probably agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, who would do that? I mean, maybe you're not in a place where you'd rather have 100 over 175, but 100 with no work, no owning it, no nothing? Yeah, because Pedro, what can you do with your time? All the time we're spending on this project,
Kids, let's go.
you could be doing something else.
Get another deal.
You could be getting another deal. Yeah, and that's one of the beauties of just fast transactions.
Was there anything that specifically happened that you weren't able to wholesale this one?
I just couldn't find a buyer that wanted it fast enough.
Because you didn't ask me. So.
Did you want to buy it, Pedro?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you have a buyer. Shoot. Yeah, so, because I had to close in 2 weeks. So I just didn't have enough time. I couldn't find a buyer. We tried though, we tried to find a buyer. So then we just bought it. Yeah, but I was comfortable with buying it. Like, we knew, hey, if we're not gonna just do a quick flip on this one and we have to take it down, are we okay to renovate it? Are we okay with the numbers? Is this okay to do? Okay, if I did not want to renovate it, or if the reno was too big, we would have probably said no on the deal altogether. Okay, because remember, I want to do big deals. I don't want to do little deals.
What's your ceiling on renovation?
So in the States, now here I'm a little different because I have even a higher threshold. But in the States, I won't touch a rehab if it's not a simple cosmetic and that's at least 100,000. I don't want to touch it. That's just me. I mean, other people might be different, right, Pedro? Because like, just wholesale it, and you can wholesale it for 20 and not touch it, or do a ton of work to make 40. Why would you do that? Not if you know how to wholesale, because you can just transact 3 more deals in the same time or in less time without all the headache. Yep. Okay, so this is the other project I'm working on right now. Now, this is a big, big one. So we're building 11,000 square feet new construction on an ocean view lot in Palmas. So we bought a lot, we got an architect, he did plans, paid for permits and construction tax, hired a contractor, and the way that they do new construction here is they call it phase 1 and phase 2. In phase 1, they call it shell, and that's basically all the cement up to the roof, no windows, and the finish. So they do the smooth coat on the outside. That's part of phase 1. And it's one contractor that does that, and it's typically a totally different contractor on phase 2. So we've been hyper focused on phase 1. Went through one contractor, fired him, found another one. He's been amazing. And this is, like I said, it's 11,000 square feet. It's 4 stories, and all reinforced concrete. Which, if you guys are from here, you're like, yeah, that's how we do it. But if you're not from here, that's like a whole new concept, right? Because I'm used to framing and lumber, and there's not a single piece of wood in the entire house. Even interior walls are all reinforced concrete for the hurricanes and earthquakes, right? So it's been a real learning process for me, and we're getting ready to do the biggest pour. So that's the main level floor that we'll be pouring here in another week or two. Yeah. So.
Who did you use for the plan? An architect from Puerto Rico or?
Yeah, so we found an architect that does quite a bit in Palmas. He's done like, I think 30 or 40, build projects in Palmas. Now expensive, so round 2, you always learn, right, when you're doing this. So I don't know that I would use him again because he's very expensive.
What neighborhood was that one?
This is on Roble Valley. So does anybody know where John Lee Dumas lives? It's like down the street from where he lives, at the end of the cul-de-sac. So it's got a
The one we
great.
saw on the bus tour.
Yeah, it's that one. Yeah. Yeah. So where were we at on the bus tour? Had I started even?
No, it was a piece of land,
Okay.
and then they threw us out, remember?
Yeah, I remember that. They threw us out, yeah. Yeah, so if you guys do another tour, come look at it. It's been a really fun project to do.
Would you just go with a cheaper architect and a better civil? That'll cut costs significantly.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
civil,
so
the
it's-
thing about Francisco is he's so plugged into Palmas and
Yeah.
permits expedited and all that.
So maybe there's some value in that, right? Yeah, it's very odd here though, because the way they do the inspections as you're building is I have to hire the inspector and pay the inspector to come make sure my project is being built according to code.
So wrong.
Yeah, nothing shady could go down there.
What kind of license do you need to get that check?
Yeah, right?
5%.
Nothing could go wrong there. So guys, though, just to kind of put in context, our goal is to be all in on this project for around 3 million. That's everything. That's my lot, my plans, my permits, everything. And we're hoping to sell at 6. And 6 is actually realistic price per square foot for this market, that market. Okay, one deal. We'd like to do a deal like that. How many little deals would you have to do to? A lot, right?
What we have.
3, yeah. I know Robbie's looking at you. I should have told Robbie my numbers.
So I imagine the construction is like 150 per foot.
More than that, yeah. So our per foot is about 250. Now that's all in. So 250 is my lot, everything.
Yeah, exactly, but the hard
Yeah.
parts of like the construction,
Yeah, I'd have to take out the other costs and stuff, but yeah.
like 150. That's good.
Probably a little more than that, yeah. And then we're hoping to sell at, 600 a foot or whatever.
Yeah, that's good for that type of
Mhm.
product.
Yeah, stuff sells for $600 a foot on like Port Road that's built in the 90s with a weird floor plan and
Yeah.
super dated.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
What about your holding costs with, your hard money or private lenders or?
that's the challenge. So I was hoping I wouldn't have to go this route and I could find cheaper money in Puerto Rico. Like just debt. So when you look at a project, you're either gonna get financing that's debt financing, which is just interest, or equity financing, which is now they're a partner on the project and they're gonna get a piece of the action. And I was hoping on this one that I could avoid an equity partner, but it's okay because the way I do an equity partner, and this is how I do my big ones in the States, like in Scottsdale, is I'll bring in a money partner and typically they'll fund the entire project. So I got no money in, I'm not making payments. So all the stress is off, all the pressure's off, I can focus on the project. See, when you have a $40,000 a month hard money loan, yeah, you start to make bad decisions because you're like, how do I get out of this as fast as possible? So you're cutting corners, you're rushing through it, you're dropping the price really fast, because you have all this urgency. So I don't like that pressure from debt, even though you might make a whole lot more at the end. I'd rather give up half the deal, but just know that the financing's there, expectations are right with the investor. And so I ended up doing that on this project, bringing on an equity partner who's funding the entire project. And so we'll see, because I've got another one that we're getting ready to start on Ridgetop. So if you go the other way off of that road at the end there, so I like that one. It's even closer to the water. And in Palmas, Ridgetop is a really high-end neighborhood. Would you agree? Yeah.
I have a lot there next 2 years.
Where?
I reached out 19.
Oh, I think we talked.
Yeah.
Are you on the other side of the little house?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked. Yeah.
Can lower the price there. We'll talk later.
Yeah, I like that lot. I like that. Yeah, don't, Emery, close your ears. I like that lot. But I want to pay what I paid 3 years ago, not what I got paid today. Then you gotta buy mine.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Okay, yeah.
I noticed the common denominator is your access to cash buyers. Target. You obviously have built that, over your business and being focused on Palmas. So that is a key requirement to do this luxury flip, though, right? Access to that, either yourself, like you've done it in this one, last one, or having quick access to those cash buyers, because otherwise you would have to hold, if you took on the flip yourself, financing is very hard here. If you want to wait it for someone to purchase through finance. So you're basically.
When you say cash, you mean buyers or lenders? Buyers, yeah. Well, this one, so this is a spec. So I don't have a buyer right now, and I'm not gonna.
I'm talking about the others as well.
Oh, the other ones, yeah. Yeah, this one's just gonna go to market. And what I found in Palmas is, I didn't mention this earlier, but one of the great things about targeting Act 60 as your buyer, so marketing and doing projects catering to, hey, there's Pedro. I was talking about you earlier. Pedro.
Sorry, brother.
You missed all the good stuff.
I know, we were working on a hotel deal
See?
for the past 5 hours.
Good for you. So one of the requirements for the Act 60 is that you have to own your primary residence by year 2. So think about that. You have an Act 60 guy come to the island, he can rent for a minute, but he has a small window of time before he has to buy his primary residence. So what does that create in the market?
Urgency.
A motivated buyer. Yeah, so a motivated buyer, an Act 60 buyer, he can't really come to the island, buy a lot and build. First of all, he has no resources, that's way intimidating, and he doesn't have time. So they're looking for inventory, and a wealthy Act 60, because there's levels of Act 60 people that come to the island. But if you're an Act 60 person, you left the mainland, you left your big house, you left all your comfort, and you're coming here, they're looking for something similar to what they left, and there's just not a lot of option on the island. Would you guys agree? Yep. So if you're specifically looking for that Act 60 luxury buyer, then that means that's your avatar. So as we're building this house, I'm thinking, who's my buyer? Who's my buyer? What do they want? What are the things that are important to them? And how do I design and build a house that fits what they want? So we have like an exercise room, we have a dedicated office with its own bathroom, because an Act 60 guy's probably working from home and he's gonna want things like that. That's hard to find in homes built in the 90s here, right? Like the existing inventory. So, and I also know that if I create a product that's fully furnished, move-in ready, how appealing is that gonna be to one of these Act 60 guys move into the island?
What's the time frame to do?
Great question. So our phase 1 contract for the shell is 12 months. I think it's 12 months, and we're ahead of schedule. So we started in November, so I think we'll be done. Hopefully.
Projected right now in September.
Okay.
Another contract's December.
Oh, it's December is the contract. Yeah.
But
Yeah, because he has a $50,000 bonus to finish early.
Nice.
And yeah, he's after that big time. So, But then the challenging part right now is we're neck deep in phase two, because when do I need to think about my windows?
9 months
Like,
ago.
like a month, like 6 months ago, right? Even though I don't need them for another 9 months. So we're heavily right now focusing on windows, cabinets, tile, things like that, because we gotta have them here. We gotta order them now so they're here in time when we need them. Otherwise, this project will go on forever.
What's square footage in the property?
It's 11,000 square foot house.
12-month period. Contract. Bill?
On a 12-month for phase one, and then we're hoping that we can do phase two in 6 to 8 months is our goal. Now, that's gonna depend on how on top of things we are with ordering stuff
Did
and,
you say what's the phase? That you're gonna be doing phase one and phase two?
So phase two then is just all your finish. So it's your windows, it's your cabinets, tile, all the finish. So phase one does include all your roughs as well, so it's all your electrical, all your mechanical, all your plumbing, all that ready.
And that's why a lot of people go up to Palmas, because compared to Dorado prices and all that, Dorado Beach.
Oh, yeah,
Palmas
yeah.
is way more comfortable to move in than.
Yeah, this would be a $30 million. I mean, you couldn't,
Dorado, yeah,
they
like
wouldn't
a
even have
$40
this one
million
because Dorado has no views. This has an amazing view of the ocean, which is why I love Palmas.
I live in Palmas as well, you know, Palmas is a great community, so.
Yeah.
People love it.
Yeah, so we're also hoping to appeal to maybe a Dorado buyer that doesn't want to pay Dorado prices.
I know. You're right.
Other questions? Okay.
Do you think new construction like 5,000-6,000 square feet would be viable in Palmas right now?
That's actually what the market wants. Don't know why I'm building 11,000.
Emory doesn't either.
No, I think that's what we should.
Honestly, I was trying to get Anne Marie to move into this one.
Exactly, that's why.
It's called Casa de Ana Maria.
No.
That's what it's called.
You gotta kind of not want to sell it to sell it. They
True.
sell it, yeah, it's like, they'll give you top dollar for it.
Yeah, because you're like, nah, I don't want that. I don't like that offer.
I mean, you only need one buyer, so.
Yeah.
Cool, man, love it.
Yeah, but most of the market is about 6,000 feet. Is like the bigger estate homes on the south side of Palmas. Yeah, you don't see very many bigger. There's some, but
And if it's not, I mean, inside the Palmas, you also have a lot of like second homes. So I think we did not build an elevator into this. The 4 levels means we have crazy 6 views. But I think for like an older buyer that is probably gonna be a second home, I think that we're gonna get dinged on not having an elevator big time.
But one of the things that I did on this home that is a big deal for me, and I think for next 60 buyer, is because Palmas is so hilly and we're on a hill a lot, that's why you have all the views. We actually retained our pool all the way up to the main level. No one does this. Everyone else, they put the pool down on the ground level. And now if you want to hang out at the pool, you got to go down all the way to the bottom. And we brought it all the way up. So you're going to literally come out of your like living, kitchen, all that area is all open, sliders right out to the pool, you know, overhanging, so infinity pool with this crazy view. So now you can entertain all that, and it costs a lot. It costs a lot to bring, because I had to retain the pool all the way up. But to me, it's like worth the cost, because that's a huge selling feature to a buyer that's going to want
You have
that.
no competition. You're gonna do like an opening party before you sell?
Still wants the trash.
Bring your checkbooks.
Can you share the average square foot price that it costs you to finish
About
it?
250.
250.
Yeah,
This
maybe,
is
maybe a
worst,
little bit
worst
more.
case scenario?
Pardon?
The worst case scenario price?
Yeah, so that's conservative, yeah. So we don't have all our numbers in on phase two yet, but we built in a lot of contingencies, so we're feeling really good about those numbers.
That 250 is with land though, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, 250 is my all-in number. Yeah, so it's lower than that if I'm just looking at the construction cost. Yeah, I'd have to do the math again, but I'm looking at it, to me, it doesn't really matter. What's my all-in number?
For luxury product.
That's really good.
Okay, that's all I had, guys. If you wanna invest, let me know. We have a spot for you. We'll take your money. All right, thank you, everybody.
Perfect. Okay, we're gonna do needs and wants. Who here has a deal that they wanna share or get a partner on or talk about? God, we got some big real estate investors in the room. Man. This is exciting. Okay.
I have a deal in, it's right by Watusi. It's in, Calle Aurora in Santurce, Miramar area. So we're looking to raise 1 million. And that would be split between equity, 40%, and debt, which, would be open to 12%, 15% is island standard, but we're looking for other options. Yeah, I have, the best thing about this project is we already have the lending approved with Ruben. And we did the calculator and everything like that. We know how to set this up so we can pay off everyone.
What is it?
It's a 10, oh yeah, we're not talking about that. It's a 10-unit building that we're gonna convert into a guest house. So we're gonna get the tourism tax credits and everything like that. But yeah, exactly. No, there is a roof, but I know what you're talking about.
Where's the
Yeah.
Aurora?
It's right by Kelly and Sarah. So in that,
Some engineering company.
really,
Yeah. We're flipping it.
okay.
That's good.
We'll talk more about it, yeah, absolutely. So if anyone wants to hear more about that, I got the deck and all the underwriting. And yeah. Who else wants to go?
So what's your minimum buy-in?
100K,
And how much you raising?
1 mil,
What's the projected IRR?
2.5.
Oh, that's the equity multiple.
Oh, you tell me, man, what's acronym you saying?
No, that's good. The equity multiple.
Oh, okay.
You put like $10, you'll get 25. That's the concept, maybe.
Yeah. Did I send you the deck?
No.
Do you know what your, cash on cash return will be?
Yeah, it's 27%.
Pretty good.
Yeah, and that's not including the tourism tax credits. That's flat on deal.
That's only in Puerto Rico.
That's
Yeah.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've done a couple of projects like this. We're launching one with Emron that's gonna be launching in the next 30 days. I'm really excited about that. Somos Hotel, 26-room hotel. It's really close to Jerry's place, Looking Glass. Jared and Jerry's place. And I think, yeah, so if you look on AirDNA, it's insane what can be possible there. The projections, the occupancy there is like over 80%. So yeah, I'm definitely looking for equity partners and possibly debt. Kia, you got a deal?
I got one. I mean,
Okay.
I haven't really thought it through. I'll just give you guys a deal. You guys call me. So I just got under contract yesterday, beachfront hotel in Rincon. 9 units with the possibility of building more. You can't build this. I mean, it has an illegal construction right in front of the water. I'm buying it for 1.25. It appraised for 1.8 about 6 months ago. So like I said, I'm not even sure what I'm gonna be asking for yet, but it's a great opportunity, great deal. There's a lot of value add. It's currently generating net about $250,000 a year, 250 to 300. So if you guys want more info, hit me up.
I want to do it with you. I'll do it with you.
Let's talk. So, like I said, I just, I'm likely looking more for, I guess, yeah, I mean, if someone comes up with all the money, I'll give them equity, of course, but I'm probably looking more for, yeah, like interest and or also being able to use the property. Like I said,
For that reason,
no. Like I said, we'll figure something out. Like I said, I haven't even, like, I just got this under contract yesterday. I've been working on it for like 6 months and I'm like, well, maybe just bring it to the table and see what happens.
How
So-
many units, I'm sorry?
9 currently. And it's like horrible. And it's making good money, so.
it's operational.
Yeah, it's
or-
running. So
Yeah.
no tax credits because it's currently operational unless I invest the same 1.25, which I don't think I would do that, or maybe, we'll see. Maybe with the right partners. I tell you. What's that? What's that? No.
Puntas.
What's the name of the beach? I can't remember.
It's good.
It's next to the Apple Christie.
Ah, pues este lado.
So nada.
So, yeah.
What
Yeah.
do I think we're nine to what, how many?
We have to see how many we can fit in. I mean, with the 9, it already makes sense. So just make it. I mean, we'll start develop, I mean, I don't wanna mess up what's already working. So we'll start rehabbing 1 unit at a time to not disturb it. Because I wanna keep the cash flow going. So that's the current plan. It has a 1-story building and it has a 2-story building. The 2-story is the one that's in front of the ocean. The 1-story is not. So ideally, I would like to build up on the 1-story and do more on that side. And I'm not sure if I would be permitted to be able to do another story on the ocean front, but we'll see. So yeah, that's the deal. I just got under contract yesterday. And we were last 5 hours. Sorry, Jerry, I missed you, man. I really wanted to be here. I was like, we're literally talking to this 84-year-old man that's selling a hotel, and we're like doing a deal. So really wanted to hear about it.
Tell them what we just did.
Okay, so it's a $7 million purchase. I don't give you the details. We're still
How
working.
with
on
the
it.
paperwork, all.
Yeah, we let him. Yeah, I called the attorney. We signed the paper, and we gave a $100,000 check to kind of lock it up. But it's going to be the current structure, $2.5 million down with a $25,000 monthly payment for 15 years. That comes up to his number of $7 million. So that's what we've been working on for the last 5 hours.
What kind of units?
We don't hotel.
You're in town or?
I tell you, I could.
It's in a really good spot.
It's
I know-
like
I know Jesus already.
prime. Like prime is prime, yes. So we'll see. We're working on it. What's next?
Should I talk about the seminar that we're doing with Jerry? Can I do that now or do that later?
No, do it.
Okay, so, sorry, so June 7th and 8th, we're gonna have an event. VIP includes the first day. Jerry's gonna be one of the speakers. We're gonna go out to his property in Palmas, gonna do a bus tour and whatnot on the 7th. And then the 8th, we're gonna have the seminar for the general admission. So you can sign up at creativeinvestorsnetwork.com. There's currently an early bird special, Creative Investors Network. Creativeinvestorsnetwork.com, or go to the Creative Investors Insta and go from there.
When does the expire?
The 10th, yeah.
7 and 8.
Yeah, May 10th.
It's pretty full too, right? Like it's.
Yeah, and it's only 30 VIP spots. So June 7th and 8th. And then on the 8th, we're gonna have a meetup at Jerry's Hotel at the Looking Glass. And also there, I mean, people are gonna come in from the States, staying at the Looking Glass, also staying at JC's place, so we're looking forward to.
Not at my house.
Huh?
Not in my house.
Well, you're at Patio Elba at your hotel.
They can stay at Jerry's house.
They've
I'll stay at Jerry's house.
got 10, well, 8, how many are still home? 8. So.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the coaching program?
Sure, yeah. So I'll be launching in June a mentoring program, weekly coaching, focused completely in Puerto Rico, mostly on flips because that's what I do. And the idea is basically, along with the people that join the program, that we can basically cover the whole island, and flips all over the island. So I'm mostly focused. I mean, right now I have properties between, if you take Puerto Rico, you take a T, so Quebradillas all the way to Fajardo and down to Calle, and then covering a lot of the mountain area. North Mountain, like that's what I'm currently covering, but I want to cover the whole island and I want to do it with people and people that know their shit and that we can collaborate and do bigger things together. So, yep, so, well, we're always learning, always be learning. So if anyone's interested in that, also hit me up. You can go to flippingpuertorico.com for that and hit me up for that, flippingpuertorico.com. It's $15,000, so it's not expensive. I mean, it's not cheap, but you're gonna get way more than that in value. We're gonna do weekly group coaching and other surprises that we'll be doing for them. So if you guys are interested, hit me up, flippingpuertorico.com, and we can do that. Like I said, we're gonna start that in June after we have the event at the Looking Glass and the event we're gonna be doing. Thanks.
Here's your sandwich. Thank you. I'm telling you, we've been around. We've seen like 4 or 5 hotels today. It's been fun.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for putting this together. We were working on a very interesting deal. So the whole point of what I was trying to come out here is to invite you guys. We have a new place that I would like for all of you to have an opportunity to go and check it out in person. It's very close to Jerry's beautiful hotel. Our place is called Patio Elba. It is a really cool story of Puerto Ricans came together, we pooled our money, and we took this ugly building and we miraculously turned it around. So I would like to, have the opportunity to invite you guys to go and see it in person. If I'm here, I'll personally tour you around, so you guys can see what's possible in Puerto Rico and learn about like the challenges and how things can get done. Because I think there's a lot of projects, but I think it's good to go to like places like Jerry where it's like finished. This project, we are going to be expanding this hotel, most likely. So I think it's a good opportunity. We're always looking for people that want to participate with us, whether it be learning or investing or at least staying or even putting a Google review would be awesome. And but I'm coming up with a lot of opportunities with big hotel purchases. So if there's anybody that likes to write big checks, I'm looking into buying a big portfolio of hotels. It's like $35 million. So I'm not asking for $35 million. I'm just saying that there are some people that like to look at really big deals, and I have some things in my plate that I cannot deal with by myself. So it's a lot of it's still in the works, but I'm in this space. We have this hotel, which is proof of concept, and I've been doing this for 11 years. And I think that anybody that wants to really take advantage of what's available in Puerto Rico needs to be in the hospitality space, and it's definitely not easy, but it's a lot of fun. You get to be creative. So if you guys have any questions about how to do boutique hotels in Puerto Rico and what that looks like, just hit me up and I'm happy to tell you. So that's it.
Okay, anyone else have any?
Yeah, we got one more right there, Bobby.
Hey, okay, you got like blueprints and plans and stuff? Wow. Look official, okay. There's a mic.
Is anybody starting here to rent properties? Like, I have a good deal for Plan 8. Somebody?
Section 8.
11 unit apartment, 11 units.
Where?
In Puerto Nuevo.
Puerto Nuevo?
Yeah, for $450,000. For better off.
We're in Puerto Nuevo now. Like Puerto Nuevo is right around here, right?
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's Avenida de Diego.
The next.
It's right next to AutoZone. In Avenida de Diego.
Is it rented
Aurorita.
now? Are they rented now or needs to be built?
No, we have 2 more families renting the property, just 2 units out of 11, just because the owner decided to empty it. So anybody who is interested can go see it. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, 450, did you say? Okay, 450, or you can pay us more, okay. Always an option. Okay, anyone else? Any deal? Okay, Robbie, is it possible that you have a deal? Is it possible you have a property? How is this possible?
We have some deals. And we're gonna sell some things outside of the San Juan metro area, because we're trying to move to Rincon. So if it's east of San Juan, we're letting things go. We sold a hotel last week, and so we've got a list. If you guys are interested in getting it from me, you can hit me, Robbie Krager, or just the flipflopflipperpr@gmail.com. So the flipflopflipperpr @gmail.com.
You only hotels?
No, not hotels. So I have a bit of everything. Some mixed use buildings, some hotels, some long-term rentals. We've got, what do you want? I got an ice cream shop. I don't have one.
Ice
I'll
cream
get one.
shop.
I'll find one for you. What do you want? Right? Yeah, but we like hospitality, so we do have some hospitality. So we've got everything, guys, from $100,000 duplex to a $10 million 44-room hotel. So you guys, if you're interested in that, let me know.
So what was that email?
The flip flop flipper, PR@gmail.com.
You're not even wearing flip flops.
I know.
Yeah, what the hell?
Come on, man, change the flip flops.
By the way, I'm Robbie Krager, so if you guys don't know me, I have a YouTube channel too. It's not like Jerry's, but we got a few thousand people watching us, and I put out a lot of content about Puerto Rico, so check it out.
I heard you're making money with your YouTube channel.
We made our first $200. It only about what, $4,000 a month in 2 years.
A lot of content. Okay, yeah. Pedro. Yeah.
So, did you guys learn anything from the legend himself?
Yes, yes.
All right, so who wants to do something like the legend himself? You guys like his bill, building the house and all of that? Is there anybody that wants to do a deal like that? So if you want to do a deal like that, I've got a piece of land overlooking the ocean, actually right down the street from his house, for about 50 to 60 cents on the dollar. So if you guys are interested in doing a build, contact me. I've got a property. We can either partner, we can go in on it, you can buy it, whatever. I'm here to move deals.
Right. Yes, come on up. See, once you get started, you're like, oh yeah, I do have a deal.
Good night. First of all, welcome to Preferred Mortgage. I work for Preferred Mortgage as mortgage loan originator. We are very happy to have you here, all of you, in our facility. Also, I'm developing a business with a friend that the name of the company will be Man Investment Puerto Rico. We identify a property that has 18 units of residential apartments, one bedroom each one, and it's an hybrid with commercial with 10,000 square feet. That property has a contract that the sales price was $1,970,000. You have to excuse my bad English. $1,970,000 for 30 years the transaction, and it runs 10 years ago. We are assuming that contract, and we identify another property. So in this moment, we have 21 units for commercial and long-term rental. In your next presentation here, I will have you a prospectus to show you what we want to do, what we are trying to do. We will be selling stocks, shares in the company for investors that want to participate in the transaction, because we want to improve, buy properties, rent the properties, and sold the properties with the tenants inside. So anyway, it was only to say you're welcome to Preferred Mortgage. Anything that you want from us, I'm very happy to help you. And in your next meeting, I will give you the prospectus.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, Deal Makers is next Saturday, not this Saturday, and then our next meeting is June 2nd. Remember, do your own due diligence with anyone you meet here, any deals you want to do. You're the only one looking after your own money the way you do, so make sure you do your own due diligence. And I know we want to stay and talk. They do like to clean up and get home because they stay late, so do try to, move it out into the parking lot if it's not going to be quick, so they can clean up and go home for the night. They stay awake late for us. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right.